Sure is bright outside. Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Whether you are seeing bright things because you have dreams of summer coming, or you're seeing bright things because of the reflection off of the snow outside, or maybe you're just seeing bright things because you've been using our On the Bright Side lately. There's so much to be excited about and so much to look forward to this year. I'm here today to bring you a layout using On the Bright Side. Now, if you are a Creative Memories advisor, or maybe you are a Creative Memories customer and you have been to a retreat with your advisor and asked for a project recipe for On the Bright Side, sadly, she probably looked at you and said, "I'm really sorry, but home office didn't give us a project recipe for On the Bright Side." And she's right, they did not. But I'm going to use it today with a project recipe, and I'm going to share with you an additional project recipe that I used On the Bright Side with. And so the purpose of this is to demonstrate for you two different ways that you could use it, but also to remind you that you do not have to use a specific project recipe just for the collection it was created for. You can use any project recipe for any collection. And so we're going to walk through a couple of, one specifically I'm going to build for you today, a project recipe. And then I'm also going to show you an additional one so that you can have a couple of options. Also, don't forget about my raffle that I have going. We are so close to getting 2,000 subscribers. I thought it would be fun to do another raffle. So every time that you comment on my channel, I will enter you in the drawing. And when we reach 2,000 subscribers, I will draw names for Creative Memories exclusive merchandise. And we all love Creative Memories products, so it'll be fantastic. And I am looking forward to it. And so I hope that you will comment often and let me know what you think about the layouts that you're seeing, and give me any ideas that you have of things you might like to see in the future. Thanks so much. Let's check out my workspace, and we will get started working with this beautiful, bright collection. All right, so this is my workspace for today. And as I mentioned before, the On the Bright Side collection that came out with the album kit actually does not have a project recipe. So, but a lot of people were really disappointed when they discovered that it did not have a project recipe. And actually, the Natural Beginnings and the Global Getaway that are coming out in the album kits also do not have project recipes. So this is a great opportunity for us to take these collections and apply them to, or apply other project recipes to these collections, which is a fun thing to do. And I just thought I would show you. Last year we had a collection called Poolside Paradise. It came out in the summer or just before summer. And this was a really fun collection, especially if you have a water-going family, or you really enjoy the pool and water and that kind of refreshment during the summer, right? But this project recipe can be used with other collections, and this is a great example of On the Bright Side. So I did this layout right here using On the Bright Side, and created it using the Poolside Paradise project recipe. Isn't it beautiful? I just love the bright colors. It's just gorgeous. And I used a number of different pieces of cardstock. different colored cardstocks and layered them with our new border, I have to look, with the Whimsical Scallop border that came out with the On the Bright Side collection. And it's just super, super cute. So this is one example of how a project recipe can be used for different collections and be just as darling and actually look like a completely different layout, right? Okay, so with that in mind, since I've already done one of the project recipes using the On the Bright Side collection, I thought maybe I would do a layout from the project playbook. So we're going to do this layout from the back, but I've chosen different papers so that we can get a different view of what this might look like if you used something besides what they used in this project book, okay? The project guidebook. So we're going to use this today, just this layout, not the whole booklet, just this layout, and we're going to go ahead and do this using similar papers, but not the same papers as they used in the sample here, just to give you another option and other ideas of ways that you could do this. Okay, so I pulled some papers from the Tone on Tone paper pack to use today. We're going to use the yellow kind of polka dot or thumbprint papers as our base pages. And so I'm going to set those aside and we'll get back to them when it's time to assemble things. But for right now, we're just going to set that aside. We're going to use the rainbow ombre kind of paper. We're going to use this paper right here, which I don't know how you would describe this, but it looks like jelly beans to me. And so it reminds me of Easter. But I just think it's just cool with all the different mosaic colors in it. We're going to use a deep orchid piece of cardstock. And then these three papers I have pulled from the Tone on Tone collection as well. And we are going to use these for punching these scallop borders here at the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start by going ahead and punching these papers, and then we'll get back to these three and the cutting that we're going to do, okay? So for right now, I'm going to punch 2 rows of each one of these papers, and then we will proceed with the rest of the layout prep. Okay, so now we have all of our punched borders. So let's cut some borders. Okay, so we are going to use our deep orchid to represent the Island Waters cardstock that they've got on here. So we are going to need an 8x12 piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put my arm out and cut this at 8 inches. You could also just cut it at 4 inches without moving your arm, and you would end up with an 8x12 piece. Okay, so there's my 8x12 piece. I'm going to just put these pieces on top of that. And then this remaining piece, which is 4x12, we are going to cut into 2 4x4 squares. All right, this piece is extra, but you can hold on to it and see if maybe you might want to add it to the layout somewhere. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we're going to take this piece right here. We need 2 3 by 12 pieces, but let's flip this over. This is a directional piece, and I think my brain says that the arches need to look more like rainbows than fish scales. That's just my brain. So I want this side to be the upside, just in case I need to flip it over. I don't think I'm going to be flipping it over, but just in case. So I'm going to be cutting pieces, horizontal pieces. So I want these arches to be right side up. So I'm going to flip it this way so that my arches are sideways and I'm cutting across them. All right. And so we are going to cut 2 at 3 by 12. There's 1. And here is 2. And then we are going to set that aside, and we're going to grab our color. Actually, I take that back. I'm sorry. We are going to cut and use this side, and we're going to cut that in 2 by 12 pieces. So we're going to go here with 2, and here with an additional 2. That'll leave us with 2 pieces left. Or, I mean, a 2 by 12 piece left. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying it very well, but that's what I was trying to say. Okay, so now we need to take our watercolor splatter piece, and this one we need 2 by 12 pieces of. So, and the back is this grid pattern, so it's not going to matter much which direction as far as the back goes. But I think I want to cut across all of these colors so that we get a really nice variety of color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 2 inches. And we need 1 more. Inches and 2 inches. And I believe that means we have all of our pieces, from what I can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And let me grab a base sheet. We're going to start with just 1. We're going to work on the left-hand side first. So this side right here. And what I'm going to do first is go ahead and line up my paper on my mat. And I'm going to just go ahead and use a little bit of repositionable adhesive to keep my paper from slip sliding around, because I just don't want to have to keep lining it back up again. Okay, so we're just going to adhere that to my mat for just a moment. And then I'm going to, let's play with this for just a minute. I need 1 of my color swatches, 1 of my arches, and 1 of my jelly beans. And we are going to play with this color. I think I want it to be in this order right here. But it is also possible that we could put it in this order, because we're going to have more color up there on top. I'm going to grab my arches here and we will take a look at those. See see how those can be. So I want to put them in somewhat of a Roy G. Biv type of fashion. So we're going to do pink and orange underneath it. I don't usually think of pink and orange, but in this instance, especially since they've used that kind of peachy orange as the lines in that pink, I think it goes really cute. And then we've got the blue down here. And the blue is actually going to be overhanging the next piece. So the fact that these arches are similar in color could be a good thing, I think. Let's see. Do we like that? Or would it be better? I'm just going to use these other two from the next page over as samples so that we can kind of get a sense of what it might look like if we had the rainbow instead. I kind of like the rainbow instead. What do you think? Gosh, I don't know. All right, I think I am going to do the color on top and the arches on the bottom. So let's start building this, shall we? I'm going to grab my permanent adhesive. I'm going to put my adhesive down the side. I put it in about 5 spots, and I put about 1/2 inch in each of the 5 spots. And then let's see, we're going to go about roughly 2 1/4 inches. And that's where I'm going to start. That. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, maybe it just needs to be 2 inches, not 2 1/4. So let's. All right. Let's go start this corner at the 2 inch mark instead. And then that'll just be so much easier to line everything up. All right. So there's our first piece. Then we're going to go with our 3 by 12 piece. A little bit of adhesive stuck on my hand. Okay, so jelly beans for the win. I've got a little bit extra, so just fold that under. And we've got our arches. And then we're going to do the blue. And I'm going to use my repositionable for this, just because I feel like I might need it. So we're going to start it over here on the edge, and with the idea that I'm dropping it down just far enough so that my my points in that scallop are not going to hit the yellow field. Okay? I hope that makes some kind of sense. All right. And we're going to take this orange one. This is going to be roughly a healthy 1/2 of an inch, as they say, from the top. And this one is going to go right along the top edge. Okay, so just like that. Then I'm going to come in here with my 2 4x4 mats, and these are going to go on this row right here. I kind of feel like I want that to be higher so I can see more of that color. So what if we did that? What if we added this mat that we cut in here so that we're not wasting it, and we've got room for another photo, because our title can go across this part up here, or it can go right here. I like that idea. I feel like I'm always pro more photos, making room for more photos. Okay, so we'll put those 2 there, and we'll add this one in. This was the extra 4x4 piece, and I'm going to just sort of ease it a little more towards the center, maybe like a 2/3 kind of thing, just because I think it'll be a little more aesthetic, maybe. Okay, so this side of the layout is done except for embellishments, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to rub off the adhesive from the back so that I don't have it sticking to anything. We'll put another little bit on the back of this sheet and get started on the right hand side of our layout. All right, so again, let's start building this from the bottom. We're gonna do our color first. And this is going to, I'm going to continue with the pink because we ended with the pink on our left-hand side layout. We're going to start this at 2 inches, at the 2-inch mark, and make sure it ends at the 2-inch mark over here. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to grab our jelly bean layer. Jelly beans are going to go on top of that. Okay, then we're going to do our arches. And then we're going to do our punched pieces. And a number of these are going to get covered up. Quite a bit of this is going to get covered up as well. So if you wanted to, you could, I didn't think about this until I already had them on here, but you could actually cut these and make them only 4 inches wide. And that would be completely justified because we're going to be covering it up with cardstock. In fact, you know what? Let's do that because then we can save a little bit of this pretty paper to use another day. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that earlier. See if I can get it off without too much heartache. That one feels the paper just a little bit, but that's okay because we won't see that anyway because it'll be covered up by cardstock. So not a big deal. And if I had put this on with repositionable adhesive, I could just lift it off and no one would be the wiser. So sometimes that's a drawback for using permanent adhesive, but it's what it is. So I almost got this. And then we can trim these down. Okay, so once again, you can do your strips and then even break down your cardstock into smaller mats if you want to, or you can go ahead and measure these at 4 inches and use the 4-inch piece. This piece, even though it's got adhesive on it, I can still use it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dust those bits of adhesive, and then they won't stick to anything and everything will be fine. Okay, so we've got that piece. We're going to use the pinks. No, we're going to use the outside. So we want the blue side of that strip. And then this one doesn't really matter. It's going to be the same either way. Fun jelly bean print. Okay, so we're going to start that over there. All right, and then what I'm going to do instead of assembling it like I was, I'm going to put this one down first. So let's get this out of the way. And I'm going to grab my permanent adhesive to get this down. You can really see my adhesive when I do it that way, huh? Okay. So let's anchor the base page again because it has come loose. I don't have a lot of repositionable on the back, just a little bit. Okay, so this is going to go down in the lower left-hand corner. Cover that up. If you didn't want to waste the yellow paper, you could cut a 4x12 piece of the yellow paper and then weld it together. And then you would save a bit of that paper too. Up to you. That is up to you. Okay, my paper is coming up again. So there we go. Okay, so now we're going to start with this, and this is going to our splotchy rainbow paper. It's going to go down first. Then we've got our 3" by 4" jelly bean paper. And then our 2 by 4" arches. Okay, so like that. Then, it's funny how this is the paper that reminded me of that. So I'm going to go ahead and rub off some of the adhesive that I added to this because we don't need all of that. We only need 4" of it. Okay, so I'm going to grab my trimmer again so we can trim these pieces and have, actually I'm going to trim this side. Let's go with these 4". There's one. Two. And this will be 3. Okay, and then we're going to start with the blue. And remember, it's only as high as it needs to be so that the points on that scallop are covered. So you're not seeing yellow. And I think I got mine crooked. Sadly. There. That's better. All right. Then we're going to go with our orange, which is again like a 1/2 inch down from the top. Straight as we can. And then the pink across the very top. There we go. Like so. Okay, so then let's take a look here. I'm going to grab some placeholders so you can see the photos that are going to go on here and where they will go. Let's see. Got 4 3.5-inch square photos. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got 2 3.5 by 5.5, which, all right, this other bag. I need the vertical ones. Hold on just a second here. There's 1 and then there's 2. All right. So then we're going to have let's get some repositionable adhesive on all these so we can see where they're going to need to go. All right, so the 3.5 by 5.5s are going to go right here. I'm actually going to move this one in and up just a skosh. Okay, so there's that. Then we've got a 3.5 by 3.5 next to the top and the bottom of these. Oh, I should have grabbed another one since we've got 3 on ours on this side. We'll grab another one. Give me a second here. All right. Okay, so that's where our photos are going to go. And then we can go ahead and come in here with some embellishments. Let me find my embellishments. We can, again, we can put our title down here. We could put our title across here. Lots of options that way. You could use one of the titles that come with the one of the sentiments that come with the embellishments. Memories. Maybe play and explore. Something like that. They used this embellishment on the sample that they've got, which is a fun like palette of color, which is kind of neat. Let's see. Good. You could do something like that and then put a quote from something fun that someone said at the event. We could add some more pockets of color, even with this, maybe. Maybe something like that. You could bring some purple, some more purple over here and do a swath under memories. Could do a cute arrow. You add a little bit of a journal box there. Maybe bring those over just a smidge, something like that. Add that little bit of extra cloud in there. What do we think? I think that's all I would do, is just add maybe those little bit of pops of different colors kind of around. You could even use the other little bits of your punched border from this side if you wanted. You could add that in to different places. Maybe down there. There's so much you could do to play with this. You could use the negatives. So sometimes I keep the extra pieces that I've punched out, and then they can be fun to add in. But you could totally add these in for another little pop of color down here on the bottom. I think that would be super cute to do. Maybe something like that. Add this one in over here. What do you think? Kind of like how it pulls the pink from way up there to down here and adds kind of a reverse of that scallop. I think I'm going to go ahead and add that because I think that looks cool, even with the little notch cut out of it. I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm going to get these put down, and then I'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, so that is my version of the project number 4 of the project guidebook for On the Bright Side. Let me know what you think. I just love this collection. I just think it is so bright and cheerful. You just can't help but be excited and happy when you look at all of these beautiful colors. So if this is what Amy Tangerine works with all the time, I am not surprised that she is as cheerful and upbeat as she appears to be, because I just don't think you can be sad looking at these beautiful bright colors all the time. So much whimsy and so much fun. So I hope this has been fun for you. This is kind of a different style layout than what I have done before in the past. So just kind of something new and different. And I love what the designers did with this one. I think this is a Sachio Mitsu design for this project playbook, but I apologize if I'm wrong about that, but I think I recall that she said this was the one that she had put together. I wouldn't be surprised, because her designs are super fun and often whimsical as well. So anyway, I hope this has been fun for you. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope it's something that you'll do in your own albums. And I would love to hear your comments. So please make sure and drop me a note. Thanks so much. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.